You and your degenerate friends already waste enough time thinking about disc golf. But just in case, here's some extra material on the Fish Golf Brah-dcast. Going to be a little bit different flavor this week on the Fish Golf Brah-dcast. I am a huge baseball fan, and as the baseball season is starting, I would like to introduce my platform while running for all forms of political office, which is opening day should be a national holiday. Your thoughts, Zach Melton?
Yeah, I'm for it. I'm down. That's like the best thing I've ever heard you say.
Okay, single issue voter here. So it seems like I've got one vote. Excellent. Zach, we're going to talk about the NL, and there's two ways that I would like you to evaluate teams. Either their actual record that you're predicting or their emotional record, which is what you want them to do.
Okay.
Let's start in the...
Can I start something first?
Oh, yeah.
I've got a story for you.
I want it.
Just clicked because you said opening day.
Yep.
And I thought of you when I heard this.
Okay.
Podcast I listen to,
Yep.
Macrodosing. They've got PFT commentator. He's from Barstool. He works on a couple of different pods.
Yeah.
He told a story about opening day that I just laughed in the car by myself for like 10 minutes.
So you're going to tell a story on a podcast about a story on a podcast.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. And you'll love it because it's about opening day.
Mm-hmm.
So he grew up in the D.C. area, and so the closest team at the time when he was growing up was the Orioles.
Yep.
And he said he's pretty sure this was around the time Camden Yards opened up.
So like early 90s.
Mm-hmm. And he remembers he's at school.
Yep.
And the PA system goes off. And it's funny because they said, PFT commentator, come to the office, but his name's Eric, so it's, I don't know, you just have to be there to get it. But they tell him, come to the office. He shows up, his dad's there, and he's like, I'm signing you out of school. We're going to opening day at the Orioles State, and he's like, yeah, leaves, gets in the car. They get 3 minutes down the road. And his dad's like, ha, just kidding. Turns the car around, takes him back, drops him back off at school. Doesn't go to opening day. He said the emotional drama from this, and all his friends like, I thought you were going to open today. He's like, I'm not going to. Like when I heard that story, I could not stop laughing. And he said now he's an adult. He thinks it's funny, and his dad feels bad, and his dad feels guilty for it.
Yeah, what are children for if not to be manipulated?
Oh my gosh, that's the best prank I've ever heard. Can you imagine how happy like a 10-year-old kid like, we're going to see the Orioles opening day? It's like, hey, just kidding.
Oops.
And then,
all right, I have an opening day story of my own.
Okay. Well, that wasn't my own, but I knew you'd appreciate it.
I skipped class to see opening day. I believe it was 2010. It was Jason Hayward's rookie year. He hit a home run in his first at-bat.
He did. First at bat. I was watching that game.
So fun.
We're fist bumping if y'all can't see.
Yeah, very much.
I was watching that.
Podcasting being a visual
I was watching
medium.
that. That's so cool.
Anyway, like I wish. So a couple things that I wish. I wish that players could achieve their potential, and whether that's like not getting injured or not getting the yips or something like that. So on that note, do you know where Jason Hayward is this year?
Is he a hitting coach?
He's not. He's still playing. He is signed.
He's playing.
Yeah,
okay.
He's signed by the Dodgers. And
minor league deal?
No, well, he made the Major League Opening Day roster for them.
Wow.
Essentially, he and Cody Bellinger traded reclamation project spots with the Cubs and
Hayward,
Dodgers.
Yeah, he was with the Cubs, and I was like, you just saw, I'm like, dang, I forgot he was with the Cubs. Was that like a couple years ago? I was watching. I'm just like,
well,
they're showing him hitting like 120. And
I
it's
know.
just like,
It's
God, it's
rough.
so sad.
It's rough. Like, just like.
You remember what? I feel like you're at that game. I'm watching it.
Mm-hmm.
They're talking about this new guy, and he hits a homer first at bat. And I think we're all just like,
Hall of Famer.
Here we
Book
go,
it now.
baby. 15 years of greatness. Let's go. Oh, so
it's tough to watch guys, kind of get holes in their swing exploited or something like that. So anyway, tell me about the Dodgers.
Is there a way to wish for a team to win negative games?
Yeah.
Yeah, because like if they could win like a neg 20 record, that would be great.
Okay, and they're still a likely contender for the NL.
Yeah,
and especially the NL West because like they are still strong.
They lost some guys, but I think losing Trey Turner, big hurt.
Yeah,
big
definitely.
Hurt. Trey is like. He's like the baseball player. He's like the baseball player's baseball player. He's like your favorite baseball player. That's their favorite player. Right.
Like he's got the power. And with more stolen base potential, like he could steal 50 if
he's
he
got
wants
the
to.
swaggiest slide of all time.
Oh my God.
Just Yeah, just smooth,
dream slide.
Every time.
So,
but like watching him play in Washington, it's like, this guy's annoying, but I don't care. Then they got really good. They won, right? And it's like, I feel like if you're a baseball fan, unless you're a fan of these teams, there's like a couple teams you just don't want to see guys go to. Dodgers nowadays.
The Dodgers, new Yankees. Dodgers have been so doggone good at signing players or trading for players. And
getting players that fit,
helping them unlock that extra potential, while also developing from the inside. Like, look at the players that they have produced on their own.
And I feel like they know when to get rid of guys too.
I think so.
They got rid of Adrian Gonzalez. That was such a bad trade for Boston. Like, what are you doing? Because did they give up Betts? Was that no? Betts just left, and
I think Gonzalez was probably earlier than that.
Yeah, it was
Betts,
separate.
Betts was part of a trade, and then they extended him,
which was a terrible trade anyways. But they're not just like the Yankees where you buy everyone.
Right.
You buy the right people who then somehow play better for you, and then also are churning out good players out of their system. Like, it's annoying.
So
it's annoying.
Here is their pitching staff right now: Julio Urias, nasty lefty; Clayton Kershaw, future Hall of Fame lefty; Tony Gonsolin, who just moves everything; Dustin May, who is a fucking freak.
Yeah.
I can't remember who their fifth starter is, but like Walker Buehler, still injured, might be back later this year. Like, that's a filthy rotation.
Walker Buehler might be like the number one if he's healthy.
Yeah, he credibly could be.
Yeah, that's good.
Anyway, what is your emotional record is negative. You got a predicted record?
I wish they could suck, but they won't,
Yeah.
They could come out, have like half their team underperform, guys get hurt, and still drop like 90 games.
Yeah, bizarre.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, let's stay in the NL West. What the fuck are the Colorado Rockies doing?
We don't know. We never know.
Do they?
They don't. I think the guy who's the GM, I'm gonna assume his like history on his like job application. He was like, I won like 3 different fantasy baseball leagues in a row, and I'm just killing it. Yeah, I know what's going on.
He won a fan sweepstakes and walked into the wrong office, and they hired him.
And he had that. He's like, yeah, just play it smart. I'm supposed to be here, and they're like, sure, you can have the job.
Yeah. So what's their actual record?
Actual record for the year? I don't want to start talking about other teams, but it can't be that good. Like, there's too many good teams in that division. They're just going to get beat up.
Mm-hmm. And like, they've got a couple of interesting players like CJ Cron. They do. Does Chris Bryant come back?
Man, that's a weird one.
Right?
Like,
what?
I forgot he was there till you said that. I'm like, yeah, that's where he went.
He did. And then he got hurt. And then we didn't really
So we don't really know. We don't know. But, I mean, he's a hella good player, but you're on the Rockies.
Yep. Yeah, just doomed to be forgotten.
What do you think? Like, 70 wins would be great?
67 was where I was headed.
70 would be great. That would be like going above and beyond.
Emotional goal, avoid triple-digit losses.
Yeah, just don't lose like 18 in a row.
Yep. Giants started the season getting swept by the Yankees this year. Doggone it.
They'll still be good. I don't know what
you think so.
Well, I always think like, they're starting slow, or they don't really have anybody. They lost people, and they have guys who show up there, and all of a sudden they're just having these not career, but like resurgent years where they're just like, oh, I forgot this guy played. Oh, he's pretty good. Like they somehow piece it together. I don't think they'll be as good as they have in the past handful of years, but I mean, they'll win at mid-80 games.
Yeah, they've got some interesting pitchers.
Logan
scrappers. Webb is great.
They're scrappers. Like you don't respect them because you're like, oh, look, they don't really have anybody, and then they're just solid every time.
Yeah, unfortunately, solid may not be enough to do.
It's not
much
enough
in that division.
No,
because you've got the Padres.
Yeah.
Can I just like, let's think about this lineup. You've got Manny Machado.
That's where I was.
You've got Xander Bogaerts. You've got Juan Soto. You've got Fernando Tatis Jr. coming back.
They're
after
all
60
playing
games.
shortstop at the same time. Yeah, they're loading up the left side.
Yeah, just Tatis is going to be squeezed out of his $340 million shortstop position and play center field.
He needs to be in the outfield.
Probably.
He gets hurt. Like, you don't want I'm worried he's turning into the guy who will get hurt, but have potential. But he dove for another ball, laid out. He's beating his body up. Like, I mean, I guess Griffey did the same thing in center and beat his body up, but yeah.
Did you know that Ken Griffey Jr. is the 4th highest paid player?
Oh, the Mariners right this?
No,
The Reds. I'm sorry. I went Mariners, but yeah.
Such good deferred money
stats.
Dude,
he saw that Bobby Bonilla contract. He's like, that's smart. I can do that.
Yeah, pay me at 53.
Yeah. What a genius.
Yep.
Padres, he took batting practice with Team USA,
and everybody's watching him.
The whole team is just swing. Giggly, eyes big, like they're except their phones out. You know, and I'm just like, man, there's not many people who could take not all the best players played for us, but most of the best players, like, and they're all just like, oh my gosh, look at this guy. This is incredible. You know, that's cool.
Yeah. Like, Ken Griffey Jr. was a generational star before Twitter. Like, he would be like Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani kind of thing.
Yeah. Him, AI, like they all just played a little before it would have just blown up. Like Allen Iverson with social media. Like, people thought it was bad then, like crazy. And then, like, can you imagine Allen Iverson? Probably like John Morant times 40.
Believe the hype.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, any additional thoughts on the Padres?
I don't know how they're all going to fit on the left side of the infield with the shift band. So
yeah, that's okay.
They didn't think that one through.
No, and California has notoriously bad housing, so like, just the zoning is going to be tough for them over there.
Yeah, they're uphill battle, but they'll still be solid. They'll drop 90 wins. There's too many good players for them to just like do what they did last year, which is burn late.
Yeah, and we haven't even talked about their pitching staff, where like, okay, they just locked down Darvish.
He's so solid. I remember everybody kind of thought they wrote him off too early. Like, they thought he was going to be a bust.
Yeah, it's almost like he's gotten a second career.
Yeah. Like, I think most people think, like, whatever happened to that pitcher for the Red Sox? Did he just go back to Japan? It's like, no, he's in the National League, actually. And he's like Cy Young material. Like, they don't know. I guarantee
throws 9 pitches.
Yeah, he's just got them all.
Yep. The Diamondbacks. Is there anything worth talking about beyond Corbin Carroll?
Arizona's weather is nice.
That's true.
It's warm.
Madison Bumgarner's going to post an ERA over 6.
Yeah, but then put him in the postseason, and he's like Clayton Kershaw on steroids.
Right.
He's just...
The Diamondbacks are going to get to the postseason, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah, they won't be there. But if I was a contender, I would try to figure out a way to get that guy. In October,
this is a very bold take.
In October, he's a different guy. He's like, I don't know.
He won't care that he's got an 87-mile-an-hour fastball. He's going to turn it on.
He doesn't care. He literally doesn't care, which he's definitely past his prime. But
yeah,
the dude was wild. Like, I don't know. He was like good in the regular season, but you didn't think like, oh, my team can't touch him.
Yeah,
I don't know. He was frustrating.
Yep.
As a Braves fan, the Giants have been frustrating for a while.
Okay, Diamondbacks. What's their record?
I mean, if we gave the Rockies 67, 70, are we giving them 68? They're not going to win a lot of games.
They're not a whole lot better.
No, the other teams in the division are just going to rack up.
Yep.
I think Rockies and Diamondbacks get beat up by those three.
Okay. The Pittsburgh Pirates have a nice place to play.
That's beautiful.
Ke'Bryan Hayes signed the largest contract in their history, which replaces Jason Kendall, 6 years, $60 million, 20-some years ago.
That's insane that Kendall had the higher contract than McCutchen. I would have guessed
it's
McCutchen.
Just straight up wrong, dude.
It doesn't make sense.
Like, I don't know what the Rockies are doing. I know what the Pirates are doing. Like, it's willfully putting out a terrible product.
Trusting the process?
No, they're not. The hell they are. There's no development.
No, there's none.
Like, they're putting out a crummy product and reaping in the franchise valuation increasing every single year.
Yeah, they're not doing anything with that team. They have an awesome stadium. It's beautiful.
Nice
Love
place
it.
to play.
Funny story about Pittsburgh. Last year,
Yep.
we're up there for the Silver Series. I'm looking at tickets because the Cardinals are playing the Pirates and like trying to figure out which night to go. Because there's a few of us that are going to go. Take Albert Tam, and what's his buddy from Finland? Cannot think of that kid. Lowry.
Okay.
Lowry was with us, and then it's me and Madison. I think a little Zach, And we go to a Pirates game, and I'm like, it's either Friday or Saturday. I'm like, let's go Friday. Albert hits the tying.
Albert
and then
Pujols.
Albert Pujols for the Cardinals. Saturday hit the tying and then passing home runs.
Dumbass.
I had a 50% chance of seeing history, and I'm the dumbass that chose wrong. Like, I airballed the free throw to win the NBA Final. Like, you could do it. Nope. Like, I don't even, like, the Friday game was at 6, the Saturday game was at 7. I know Madison plays early, FBO. I'm like, let's go 6 o'clock on Friday.
And also, like, okay.
So I'm going to blame her.
By Saturday, you've played 2 rounds on a demanding course. Like, Sunday, you're going to try to get out of town.
And you got to go downtown Pittsburgh. Yeah. So let's go Friday. Such a bad decision.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
So
screw Pittsburgh.
Screw Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Emotional record is
hopefully
30-132.
Yeah, something like that. Maybe they didn't hit 40.
Okay, a mildly more compelling team, Cincinnati Reds. I want you to name me 3 players on the Reds roster. Can you do it?
Joey Votto.
Okay, good.
But he's already said if he plays bad, he'll just quit. So
and he's hurt to start the year.
So I may not get that one if he's not there by the time he's healthy. And
yeah, it's tough. It's kind of a cast of no names. There's Alexis Diaz.
I kind of like I'm a little salty with Cincinnati, but it's not their fault. When Griffey played there,
yeah.
You know, they had the big tower in the outfield counting his home runs because the team sucked, so they just all back.
Got to do something, yeah.
Yeah, made a road trip to Cincinnati to go watch on a Friday night and a Saturday day.
Mm-hmm.
Griffey rested, didn't play. Like, what?
Seems like you strike out an awful lot, so to speak.
But the one Braves game I went to last year was awesome. I know I'm skipping ahead to NL East, but it was awesome.
So Reds record?
Not good. Mm-hmm. Guess we need a number, like probably C-. I don't know. I mean,
I agree wholeheartedly. They call up Ellie De La Cruz. There's nothing else to play for.
Just let them play. Let the kids play. And what are you trying to do anyways? So just play all the young kids.
Yeah, definitely.
Let Joey yell at them all when he gets back. Like, get some at bats. It'll probably be his last year. Seems like it. If he's already talking like, if I don't have it, I'm done. Like, I feel like there's a little something there anyways.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how the shift affects him in particular, because like he was always a line drive pull hitter. Mm-hmm. So maybe there's some more open space.
Would you trade for Joey if you were a contender? Lefty bat, if he still has it when he comes back?
Yeah, I think so. Depending on what my first base and DH situation is, I would definitely consider it because he seems to be a good clubhouse presence. He's got a lot of accumulated knowledge. Like he might be somebody who could shepherd your other left-handed hitters into better game preparation, and maybe that matters.
I've always liked Joey.
Yeah,
he. I mean, you don't really. I mean, with baseball players, it's not like you can't really just see one and be like, oh, I recognize him like NBA guys. Like baseball players, most of them you're not going to recognize if you pass them on the street. But
they look the same as the rest of us.
Yeah, they do a little bit. But you know, he's always been someone when I've seen video and stuff about him, he's just like very wholesome. Enjoying himself, but also like cares too.
Sneaky good Twitter too.
Is he?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
It's infrequent. Oh, he's picking up his phone right now, folks. Like right now. He cannot hold in his enthusiasm.
I love for the good. Like hit me with anybody you think I should follow. I love good ones. There's a pickleball pro that I follow, and he's hilarious.
I feel bad telling you to follow somebody on Twitter right as Twitter is just like disintegrating as a product.
It is, but it's still fun. Yeah. That's where the real entertainment is.
Yep. Okay, so C- for the Reds. Let's talk about the St. Louis Cardinals.
I hate them. They're too good.
They're just so annoyingly good. Like,
is it that top one?
Is it the one called Joey Votto?
Listen, there could be all kinds of them. Does this look like Joey Votto to you?
That's Joey Votto.
That was great. It was a little like 8-year-old kid, by the way.
But you can tell with the face shape and the hair color.
That big old square face. The Cardinals they're in that group of teams like they sign people and then they start the season. They're like, why is this guy amazing for that team?
Okay, going back to the 2 very confusing teams in the NL West, they have Paul Goldschmidt. They have Nolan Arenado. They absolutely fleeced the Diamondbacks and Rockies for them?
Like, I feel like they probably gave cash back. Like, you can't name a player they got back.
No, I can't. I don't remember the specific trade histories, but like
probably because they're not going to make the majors, but somehow they got rid of them.
I asked, what are the Rockies doing? They got rid of Nolan Arenado to sign Chris Bryant, but like, isn't Arenado a franchise cornerstone at this point? Like he was a top 5 NL MVP vote getter last year. He's got 10 Gold Gloves in a row.
Yeah, he is a better Chris Bryant. But somebody likes Chris Bryant, so
that's true. No Molina, but they do have a Contreras. Contreras the Greater.
The better one.
Yeah. They have a wonderful player named Lars Nootbaar.
They don't have Albert Pujols anymore, though.
That's true.
I did get to see him play.
They do still have the ancient Adam Wainwright. Do you think,
how?
Does he have a credible Hall of Fame case?
I think you look at some guys that get in, and I think he does. I don't think you'd ever, like, he had a few years where in October he was, like, nasty, and I think that helps him.
Yeah.
Because they were good and they won titles, and he was a huge part of that.
Mm-hmm.
He was a former Braves prospect.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So here...
Who did we move him for?
Oh, I don't remember. J.D. Drew, maybe? Was it that long ago? Like 2003?
It might have been. We did.
Like, all things considered, that was a pretty good trade because Drew was productive for a year and a half, I think.
Wainwright, though.
Yeah.
I remember that. Like,
okay, so here's my premise on Adam Wainwright. Adam Wainwright has a credible Hall of Fame case because he's got some good counting stats, and he happens to be the pitcher generation after Mark Burley and Tim Hudson. I think that those two guys were too close to the era of Clemens, Maddox, Glavine, Smoltz, Johnson.
So they look worse.
Right. But by the time, Mark Burley or Andy Pettitte were pitching a lot, the game had changed enough that relievers were vulturing wins. You weren't getting pitchers going 7-8 innings every time out.
No.
Consequently, pitcher wins, which never were a very good stat, are devalued even more. So, like, is Adam Wainwright, with his length and quality of production, maybe in the conversation for like top 10 pitchers of the last 20 years? Maybe.
I think I listened to the PTI show.
Yeah.
Will Bond and Kornheiser. They're some of the few guys that'll talk baseball. I love it. Listen to them, and they got in on this one. And I can't remember one of them was for and one of them was for not. And I can't remember who fell on what side. But I mean, you can like kind of make an argument for either side. He's on like the ledge. He's like almost there, but
right.
He's almost not. So you can kind of pick certain stats to like back your point,
right?
Like if he is or not. But
it might depend on what's the vibe like on Felix Hernandez, who retired a couple years before he did. Doesn't have quite the same counting stats, but had a higher peak. What's the vibe like on how we feel about, say, a Zach Greinke, a Clayton Kershaw? And anyway,
yeah.
What do you think about the Cards? What's their record?
They're always sneaky solid, and they got some ballers too to back up with that, and they'll churn out guys that you've never heard of. They'll be really good. I think high 80s, low 90s.
Seems right. And that could contend in the division. Their main competition is probably the Brewers.
Yeah, I was going to say the best thing going for the Cardinals for the last like 20 years is their division. Always. They've had years where they won and made the playoffs, and then they played good in the playoffs, but like they won with like 80-some wins.
Okay, here's my take. The Marlins are terrifying when they're a wild card team, right?
Yeah. Like
3 times to the playoffs, 2 World Series championships, all as wild cards.
Yep.
When the Cardinals win 96 games, they're not terrifying. When they win 86 and had to squeak by 2 other teams in the final week of the season,
I'm with you.
Can't be beaten.
You're going to lose.
Yep,
you're going to lose. That's so accurate.
And it's going to be like David Freese was a World Series MVP.
David Freese, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Like who? Yeah. Oh no, he's just like had one of the greatest Octobers ever. Like what the heck? That's what they do. Like, yeah, they win 99 games and they're just blistering the whole year and they run away with the division. Like, they're going to go out in the first round.
Yeah, big deal.
They're done. When they win their last 2 games of the regular season and they're like, oh, they won the division, 84 wins. Look out. They're where they want to be.
Yep. Brewers, what do you think?
Man, I'm not too high on the Brewers.
What if I read you off a pitching rotation that includes Brandon Woodruff, Corbin Burns, Freddie Peralta, and we start with those 3?
I guess it really matters if the balls are juiced this year or not.
Okay. And consequently, can they score runs?
Yeah, I think one thing I keep forgetting too is no shift. Hitters will get we're going to see, speaking of what we just saw, that's going to happen a lot more. Base hits through the infield, so.
Yeah, for context, it is Tuesday, April 4th. It's the bottom of the 7th, Braves versus Cardinals.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we couldn't shift on old boy, and he just got a little infield hit right where our second shortstop should have been. But no. They have the pitching. Will the hitters hit? Last year, I don't really think
not much.
They didn't really hit.
The ghost of Christian Yelich can't carry them anymore.
Yeah, what happened to that guy?
Back injuries, apparently.
It was 3 years ago. He's one of the best players in the NL.
Yeah.
That's recent, right?
Yeah, definitely.
MVP season, unreal stats, and it was didn't Derek Jeter just give him to the Brewers?
Pretty much. It was. I mean, the Marlins have long been a farm team for everybody.
Yeah.
All right. So, do you have a record, emotional or actual?
They've kind of burned us as in Braves fans a couple times throughout the years recently, where it's I don't think they're a threat, and then they're good, just like everybody's good. But I don't feel great on them this year. They have pitching, but I don't know. I'm gonna give them maybe mid-80s.
Sure, and it may be that the new balanced schedule prevents them from just feasting on Pirates, Cubs, Reds, and turning a 78 win team into an 87 win team
just because they get to play the Pirates.
Right. All right,
and the Reds.
Let's finish the NL Central by talking about the goddamn Cubs.
Dude.
Again, what are they doing?
We don't know, but I'll tell you what though, they won opening day this year.
Yeah,
and I just saw so much Cubs everywhere. I've told you this already. Got 8 DMs with Dansby Swanson in Cubs uniform. He's killing it. Yeah, they lost the next few games of that set, and they're 1-2. But they've played more games than that. But yeah, what are they doing?
I don't think there's a viable path forward.
Why are they spending money?
I don't know. Marcus Stroman is a good pitcher. Everybody else after that, they signed Drew Smyly. They've got do they still have Kyle Hendricks? They
may.
They're just Marcus Stroman is a credible number 2, and then everybody else after that is maybe he'd pan out as a 5.
They paid Dansby. They paid Bellinger, right? They gave Bellinger a little,
sort of,
not a ton, what
he
could have cashed out 3 years ago. But,
dude, imagine if he had signed an extension right after that MVP year.
Yeah, I bet he regrets that.
It would have been 12,300 probably.
That's a Dennis Schroeder type mess up right there. Could had an extension for 5 and 80 or 4 and 80. Mm-hmm. It was 4 and 80. It was 20 a year. He turned it down, went to free agency, re-signed with the Lakers for 1 year for $3 million.
Whoopsie.
Yeah. Fumbled that bag.
I mean, would you sign for one at $3 million right now?
Oh yeah.
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 Me too. Any companies, etc. out there who are looking to sponsor somebody for
we'll split it.
Yeah, we will undercut the market.
You're getting 2 for 3.
2 for 3.
Yeah.
You're already paying a whole bunch of hurt guys to not play for your team. Pay us to not play for your team.
Yeah. We'll do it.
Yeah.
It's fine. We probably have bigger social media following than half your players.
Potentially. I know how to do laundry. I don't mind doing it myself.
Yeah, man. I can hand out water cups with the best of them.
Definitely.
A little good game pat on the butt. Get him, champ.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Another part of your role is DD team captain. It's just
yeah.
Water cups, butt pads.
It's frowned upon with the FPO division, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Give them nucks.
You got a record?
Sorry. Catcher just took it off the face mask.
Yeah.
I feel that's got to bruise. I don't know. That's got to mess with. I know they have padding in there.
It would be a mistake to be a beautiful catcher.
Yeah.
Because you're just asking for it, right?
Yeah. Did you? Sorry, I know I'm rambling. Did you see the highlight? I think it was a pitch last night. I think I was scrolling. Catcher set up outside, pitcher missed, and catcher like reaches over his body, catches it, like right at the ump's crotch, and he goes, "Thank you." He like you could see him lean in and thank. Yeah. Dude's like out here. It's just like, or whoop. Yeah, it was funny. It was funny. But who are we talking about? Cubs.
Cubs.
Oh, good luck. I guess they think Dansby can win them like 88 games, but that's not happening.
No.
High 60s.
Yeah. I would give you low 70s potentially.
If things go right.
Yeah.
If things swing their way.
All right, on to the NL East. Let's talk about the legend of the Montreal Expos. My dream is to buy the Nationals and move them back to Montreal. That got a lot harder after the 2019 World Series win because, I mean, that just makes franchise valuation go up, 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 up.
Yeah.
But consider who the Expos lost in like the late 80s, early 90s. Randy Johnson, Larry Walker, Moises Alou, Henry Rodriguez.
The strike year, they would have probably had a great chance to win it all, right?
In the NL East. Yeah,
they
were
would have
great.
got to the post. They just would have been to the postseason with a lot of young guys, but
Yep.
they
didn't want to pay Tim Raines. They didn't want to pay Andre Dawson. They didn't want to play Vladimir Guerrero.
No.
Like the whole franchise was just completely mismanaged. And Jonah Carey, excluding a couple dumb things he's done in his life, wrote a great book about the Expos that I really enjoyed.
Really? That'd be a good read.
Now, Ted Lerner, who just died, and for some reason the Nationals are wearing a TNL patch on their sleeves all year in memory of their crusty old owner who let these guys walk. Bryce Harper, Anthony Rendon, Trey Turner, Max Scherzer. There's one more I'm missing.
There is one more.
Juan Soto.
Soto. The haul for Soto is half of what they should have got. It's terrible.
Yeah. Like they basically.
Sorry, not to like. I mean, maybe a couple of those guys.
No, it's true.
Like good players, but Soto is much better than a good player.
And unquestionably, like I think an underappreciated part of franchise, like when you're constructing your franchise, if you have 8 players who are basically 1 WAR players versus 1 player who's an 8 WAR player, yeah, you're going to pay a lot for that 8 WAR player, but he's only 1 roster spot, not 8.
Not 8. Yeah, that's like the biggest, like, we don't care ever. How can you get to where they are now when they won it so recently?
That they're just letting guys walk. Like they're letting potential franchise cornerstones go.
A lot of them.
It's such a mistake as a fan to see that happen. Like you could say the same thing about the Red Sox. I know this is not your preview, but
yeah, that's fair.
Like they let Bogarts go. They traded Mookie Betts.
Traded Mookie. It's just like they didn't even have to.
Yeah.
They chose to.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Like I guess people are cheap, basically, is what it comes down to.
Yeah, but
or they it's like these guys think they're so smart that they can like maneuver around it.
Yeah,
it's
we'll
like,
replace it. But
no,
if you're the Nationals, it's not like you see other players in your pipeline who are ready. Like I understand that they're doing the teardown right now, and they're not like trying to sign guys thinking, oh yeah, we're just one move away from competing.
No.
Anyway, they're 64 wins.
If they get good pitching, they could be really bad. But yeah,
Patrick Corbin going to lead the league in losses again.
And it's like you almost kind of feel bad for him because he'll do it like.
Oh, they did sign Steven Strasburg. You remember that? Who's pitched like 13 innings for him.
Yeah, I remember. You remember the hype about him as a number 1 pick?
Oh,
he's going to be
huge, dude.
The guy. Has he had one full year? Like one like.
Oh yeah,
full, like
he was unstoppable in that 2019 World Series.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That's why he got the bag, and they let Harper walk. Or they basically chose to re-sign him and let Harper walk.
Yeah, they actually. I'm pretty sure they like tried to save themselves with like their offer. Like we offered Bryce, but I'm pretty sure their offer to Bryce like he would never take or in the circumstances like. But then again, Bryce actually took the deal he took for the Phillies was,
I think it was a couple extra years
and less
money. AAV.
Yeah. Yeah, that was an odd choice, I feel like, by him. It was kind of like
I think it was the years he was going for, which is kind of the way that a lot of those Padres deals have been structured now, extending all the way out to, say, 14 years or so. Yeah.
I know Kornheiser complains about it literally, like, as soon as baseball season starts, he complains because he's a Nationals guy. Just, like, so salty.
Yeah.
And definitely salty that both Bryce and Trey are, like, 60, 70 miles up the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about the Phils.
God.
I can't.
I've never cheered for a team. Maybe, okay, can't say never, but I was a pretty big-time Astros fan in the World Series.
Really?
I was.
I actually thought it was going to be kind of cool if the Phils won because, like, they were genuinely fun to watch. Like, Schwarber.
Yes.
Castellanos trying.
Love Schwarber. Schwarber's a guy everybody loves.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Their pitching staff is pretty cool. I still don't believe their bullpen has it figured out. Do you know who their closer is right now?
I don't have no.
Oh, you're going to love this.
I didn't know last year.
It's somebody who's played for the Braves, Red Sox, Cubs, White Sox, Padres, probably like 3 or 4 other teams because, well, he's just not that good anymore. It's Craig Kimbrell.
It is Kimbrell. Oh my gosh. No, I did know that because the who got the strike to start their at bat the other day. Did you see that? Remember. It was before the season started. Kimbrell was taking forever.
So doing that surfer pose.
Yeah, so he throws a pitch, doesn't get the call he wants. They throw the ball, he tosses it, doesn't want that ball. Throws the next ball, he catches it, doesn't want that one, tosses it. Oh, this is why it wasn't a strike call. His catcher got thrown out.
Yeah.
Catcher puts up the mitt, is like, nah, he's going to throw it again. Moves it, drops it, gone.
Yeah.
And it's because the ump was mad at Kimbrell. Kimbrell started all that shit. It was his fault for like beefing with the ump over one call. Man, I forget. JT
Real Muto.
First ever ejection in his career.
Fortunately, in spring training, so it doesn't really count.
Doesn't count, but it's
dude, what a great catcher.
Solid. Just always solid.
Do you know where he came from? The Marlins.
Of course he did. Of course he did. The Marlins. Would you say the greatest farm system for every team?
Yeah, it was like the Royals were the Braves farm system and the Yankees farm system for a while. Now the Marlins are just like, here, take everybody.
Yep. We don't want much in return.
Nope.
It's fine.
I have difficulty believing that the Phillies are going to be able to sustain it all. I feel like they kind of caught lightning in a bottle. Bryson Stott's pretty good,
but magic. But
Reese Hoskins got hurt.
They weren't great. Like a good amount of the year, they weren't great. They just, I like that lightning in a bottle. They caught it.
And I think the top end of their starting staff fares better in, playoff series versus
getting them there, like the long stretch.
Exactly. Like you need depth to get all the way there, but then your top end has to take over.
They barely snuck in last year. I didn't take them seriously even when they got, like, I was like, there's just no way they're legit.
No. And
then
you got to fight through
so
many rounds. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Marlins.
Great farm system.
Yep. They're pretty good. Okay. Here are some second basemen on the Marlins roster. John Birdie, Jazz Chisholm, Joey Wendell. God damn it. They just traded for Luis Arias. And I think they have one more. Like, they're basically trying to play 5 second basemen as regulars.
They're doing the opposite of what San Diego's doing with all those shortstops.
Now, I meant to say, the Dodgers have kind of pioneered the, like, utilitarian parts where Max Muncy plays all over. Cody Bellinger played a couple positions. Chris Taylor plays everywhere.
Chris Taylor played everything, yeah.
Anyway, like, I wonder if that helps or hurts them in the long run because the players aren't as specialized. Now, the Marlins now have Jazz playing in the outfield.
Probably it's a good call.
That's good for him.
That's a good call.
Jorge Soler, World Series hero, in left field for them, hitting, I don't know, 204 again.
I was going to say, is he going to do anything?
It really is a shame to see like such good pitching buried there. Like they have Sandy Alcantara, Trevor Rogers, Jesus Luzardo, Pablo Lopez. I can't believe they have the pitching staff that can win you a division, and they just cannot develop hitters.
Well, they let them leave.
Yeah.
Or they basically give them away. All the hitters, like the last 5 years, all the young players they've had that have just gone somewhere else.
It actually looks pretty good that Giancarlo is not playing there anymore, though.
I know. But he was almost like he was gift wrapped by Jeter to the Yankees. That was when I was like, bro, what is happening? Derek's getting paid to still play for the Yankees, man, from another ball club. Oh man. Oh yeah, he just gave everybody away when he got there.
Yep.
But
so what's the Marlins record?
What was it? A couple years ago they made the playoffs. Is that right?
In 2020.
Yeah. Okay.
But they were 27 and 33 that year.
Yeah.
I think they're a couple games under 500. Mike could sniff down the Phillies' backs, but like they're just not built to win in this division.
70s.
Yeah. So we got two more teams. These are the ones that I know we want to spend the most time on.
Definitely.
Let's just dabble in the Schadenfreude of the Giants and Mets not getting Carlos Correa this year.
That's what they get. Suck it. Suck it. Both of them can chest.
Like, Correa was going to play third base? Come on. Like, you have Brett Beatty and Francisco Alvarez, like, potentially coming up, who could... Beatty is a third baseman. You have Francisco Lindor, who you already have on a $300 million contract. Like,
and he's... It's overpaying. It's overpaying. I don't know. Some days it's like, man, he is a great ball player, and then others it's like, when's the last time he got a hit?
Yeah, 8 more years of this, right?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, just like banging your head against the door. Yeah, it's like a love-hate. New York is any sport. It's tough.
Definitely.
To play there, but still, I can't smile more just watching their fans go through that, because it's just like, I don't know. I've always enjoyed watching the Mets just fumble, just trip on the 5-yard line.
And knowing that it's going to happen. Like, what is the ba-dum-bum?
Yeah.
What's the going to be this year?
God, do they lose in the wild card? Like, that'd be great.
Get
like,
swept.
We got our warrior god Scherzer going out there, and then they just get pummeled. And they're like, well, we're out of the playoffs.
Yep. It's. Now, like, this is all big talk. We are not prognosticating. Like, Zips and Pacoda have the Braves and Mets basically even this year. It's just it's amusing to watch how, whether it's Will Pons or Steve Cohen, they just can't get out of their own way somehow.
And the organization comes off as like a try hard. Like, they want it so bad, but it just doesn't happen for them. Yep. I don't know.
And now, Buck Showalter, really good fit for them right now. After
I like Buck.
So many years of having crummy managers to manage in that environment. Like, Buck's seen it all. He doesn't have to care.
He was there in worse conditions when he managed under what's his name? That was with the Yankees, right? Big guy. What was the boss man?
Steinbrenner?
Yeah. Hal's his son. I wanted to say Hal, but not Hal. But yeah, if you can manage under him, then the Mets is a cakewalk.
Yeah, definitely. Especially when your owner is going to open a checkbook, not just, kind of run right up to the salary cap line and say no more.
Yeah, they are spending.
Yep.
He's
Verlander and Scherzer, if they stay healthy, we know they're good. No more Jacob deGrom though. Like,
that's but like, he gives me Mike Trout vibes. Unreal, but how available are they?
Yeah. Yep, for sure.
Like, the best skill is being available, and they're not.
Yep.
Me and Lance Brown got an argument about Mike Trout. He was like, he's so good. I'm like, he's very good, but he's never available. And he's like, yes, he is. I was like, Lance, literally pull it up right now, because his last 5 years,
not playing 140,
not playing a lot.
Nope.
Which sucks.
It's a real shame. Like,
and he's definitely not. I know this is American League. Sorry, Ella, but definitely not playing in October ever.
No,
which is sad. Did you see how much fun he had playing in the World Baseball Classic?
Good heavens, yeah. But
he said that was the best time of his life.
His career playoff line is something like 1 for 12, like 3-game sweep.
I was about to say, yeah, he only got there once, and it was out quick. But
but
yeah, DeGrom, see ya.
Yep.
But will he even, will he go down as someone who's worth it? They might have dodged one there. I don't know, but they did pay a couple old guys.
Yep.
Who are really good.
$86 million going to
Scherzer.
Who
are really
and
good, but they're also really old.
And,
so
yeah, and then after that, you're relying on Cookie Carrasco.
Yeah, I mean, maybe as a 3, maybe.
Yeah. Diaz going down as a closer.
Oh, that's
hurts.
Tough.
Yep.
Also, I mean, I don't wish injuries on anyone, but it's like, how mad are Mets? Like the Mets, it's the Mets, dude. How mad? Like, I hate to
I want to see
enjoy it
I want
because
to see
it's
Diaz
someone's career.
play.
Like you want to see him play, but if there was a team it could happen to, they're like, we're gonna win it this year. We got Justin, and then boop.
Yep.
Sorry.
That's a lot like Acuna going down for us a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So what's the Mets' real record and the emotional record?
They're gonna win 90 games. They're gonna win in the 90s
At least.
They're gonna be there. If they play bad, they'll win 90. Let's give them 94. Because we'll
and
get them.
The emotional record is like 3-159 with a sweep over the Yankees.
Yeah, if they get that's the only time I want to see them win is when they play the Yankees.
Yeah,
because that's everyone hates the Yankees because they just ruined our childhood. But anyway, sorry. Yeah, that's the only time they can win.
Yep. All right, let's talk about Atlanta.
Boom. We're winning right now, 4-1. Bottom of the 8th.
Yep.
I really shouldn't talk shit to the Cardinals because it's not a good idea.
They got us right where they want us.
Yeah, but I think we're looking good.
There are still a couple question marks. I'm very pleased that our rotation, assuming everybody stays reasonably healthy, looks like Max Fried, Kyle Wright, Charlie Morton, Spencer Strider, not in this order necessarily, and then some combination of like Bryce Elder, Dylan Dodd, Jared Schuster, maybe Michael Soroka comes back at some point.
Soroka.
It's so nice to have that depth and not feel like it's a huge drop off.
Talk about feel bad for a guy.
Dude,
Soroka.
two Achilles tears.
Back to back.
Yeah.
When's the last time he pitched like a semi-healthy year? It's been like 3 years, or is it longer?
I think it was 2020 that he got hurt. And
when he had the initial pop to start the year?
Yeah.
God, that's a long time.
Uh-huh.
That's tough.
And had to like rebuild some mechanics in the process too. Like there's a lot that's gone into all that.
If he were to come back and be like a quality pitcher that could be reliable, that'd be like super impressive.
Yeah, if he comes back in June and gives us 120 innings of, 3.50 ERA.
And he was good.
Yeah.
He was a good pitcher. He was like their guy when he got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy to think how different the team is when he was the dude.
Mm-hmm.
He gets hurt, and now, like, what's happened? Like, was Michael Harris, like, 15 when he got hurt?
Could he shave?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I doubt it. I doubt it.
The Braves, I think, have found the inefficiency, found the market inefficiency in being able to extend these young quality players at above arbitration value, but below free agency value.
They got dude, speaking of Harris, his Dilly sign, team friendly.
But it's also him friendly. Like it is in a way protecting the player, and you knew he was going to get the major league minimum for the next couple years, and then arbitration.
Yeah, depending on how great. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, he's betting on himself, but I mean, it's not bad.
Yeah,
it's not bad because I think last year was a big enough sample size. Even if he hits like shit, like his glove is so good. Mm-hmm. He's great.
Kevin Kiermaier had a year a few years ago where he hit like 10 home runs and hit, I don't know, a 290 on base percentage and was still a 5-win player because of his defense. Like
it matters. I love that it still matters in baseball. Like obviously I love basketball and I watch it, but even it matters in basketball, but no one even talks about the fact it matters. Like baseball, it matters.
Yeah. And in basketball, it's so easy to take a playoff and there's 110 possessions a game. So big deal. You'll buckle down when the playoffs happen. In baseball, your currency is outs.
Yeah. Yeah. I dig it. I love Riley. Yeah. I got him. How do you feel about Olsen? I was like,
I think I'm on board.
Last year though, like first half of the year, how are you? I was just like, I'd watch and I'd just be so salty. Because it's nothing against him, but he shouldn't have been there.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of bagged on the Nationals and the Red Sox for letting players walk. Like the Braves kind of did that with Freeman too. And yeah. I don't know what kind of hanky panky there was with the agents and shit.
You didn't know about that?
I heard about it.
I read about as much as I could, but the agent's like blah blah blah. But I mean, if I met that agent, I'd probably want to punch him in the face because like. I don't know. It just seemed like he wanted it. He gave Freddie like less money to send him to a place I feel like he wanted him to play. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is there. I wish Freeman the best. I hope he makes the Hall of Fame. Like he's got a shot at 3,000 hits.
He's like one of the most quality human beings, I think, in professional sports.
Olsen seems to be a great guy too.
He does.
He's got a lot of pop. He hits the ball hard, and I think the shift is going to open his potential a lot.
And he's a hometown kid.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I was told that last
Braves
year.
have so many of those guys. Yep. Emotional record?
Like 140 and 22.
Stay humble, yeah.
Yeah.
And actual record?
I mean, 22 losses. Real record, I think they're mid-90s. Like, they're good.
Yeah.
They, like, everybody's got holes, but, like, they really do. I feel like they kind of, Acuna's back and he got more reps and he's healthy. He's legit healthy. Everybody, they got the young guys who stepped up when he wasn't there.
Yeah.
They got the pitching depth.
If shortstop and left field aren't complete drags, like, we didn't even talk about Travis d'Arnaud and Sean Murphy.
That's true.
So I read The Athletic. Jim Bowden, former Nationals GM and complete bozo in that role, has been like banging the drum since the Braves traded Contreras and others to get Sean Murphy. He's been saying, oh yeah, the Braves are going to trade d'Arnaud. They're going to trade d'Arnaud. There's no way you trade a second catcher who's that good.
No. What would they do if they traded him?
Like, you need good catchers. You want your primary catcher to play no more than like 120 games.
I feel like we've always had multiple catchers. Like, it's just always been, I don't know. I can't think of a lot of, which it's fair that the Braves have been my favorite team my whole life, but like, it doesn't seem like a lot of teams carry like they'll have a backup who gives the guy rest, but not like quality.
Yep. All right. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me.
For sure.
If you enjoyed this show, which did run long, I'm sorry for that, but also not sorry for that. Baseball's a long game. Be patient.
Sorry, not sorry.
You can find me on
pitch clock on this podcast.
Nope, no pitch clock at all. This is
we didn't touch any of the new rules.
Our no rules.
We need to go. We need to go.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at fish58320. And if you hated this and wanted to give the Rockies treatment to Zach, where can they find you?
Come find me, dude. I'm on all of them. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. No, you can't find me there.
All right, Zach, in closing, please name a backup catcher from the 90s.
Eddie Perez.
Kurt Manwaring.
I'm Tim Barham, and I listen to the Fish Golf Brah-dcast while I wait for my friends that are late for their tea time.
Hi, my name is Stacy Ronsley, and I listen to the Fish Golf Brah-dcast while I take my pet goldfish for a walk.
If you like where this show is headed, stick around for part 2. We'll never barrage you with 11 minutes of droning external ads to start the show. So please support the Fish Golf Brah-dcast by visiting discgolfbrah.com for hats and other apparel. Fish stamped discs are available at fishdiscgolf.com and daddydiscgolf.com, and you can save 10% on upperparkdiscgolf.com with the code Andrew10 on backpacks and other items. And now, more lies and outrageous claims from our guest, met with calm reason by Fish. So Zach Melton ran his mouth for entirely too long about the NL. Therefore, we didn't get to talk about rules changes. Ella, have you heard about this bullshit designated hitter thing? It's all over baseball now.
Oh gosh, darn that darn designated hitter. I'm a AL stan, so I'm about it being spread around.
Additionally, there were some rules changes this year, and I want to talk about the pitch clock in particular. And let me tell you a little allegory, okay?
Yes.
So there's this rule that's been on the books for over 100 years, right? That the pitcher and batter have to be engaged within a reasonable amount of time, and the pitcher has to deliver the ball within 20 seconds. Mm-hmm. And this has been in the rule book, right? And it hasn't really been enforced. But over time, things just kept taking longer and longer, and the time of game went from low 2 hours to well over 3 hours, with many games approaching 5 even.
Yeah,
just a terrible spectator experience. There's enough spitting and crotch grabbing and we don't need to see somebody shaking off sign after sign after sign.
You don't want to see Joe Schmo adjust his batting gloves 8 times before he steps up to the plate.
And between each pitch, even like you didn't swing, your batting gloves didn't come undone. So now MLB has introduced a pitch clock, 15 seconds with nobody on base, 20 with base runners, and limited the number of times that batters can request timeout or pitchers can throw over. And you know what it's resulted in?
What?
Better game experience. Like things move
faster.
Anyway, that's my allegory about baseball. It has nothing to do with disc golf on this nominal disc golf podcast.
Nothing to do whatsoever.
Nope. So we're going to talk about the AL today. And we're going to go team by team. And Ella, I would like you to give me either a real record that you think teams are going to produce or an emotional record of what you want them to produce.
Okay.
You can give both. You can give either. And then talk a little bit about what's interesting about a particular team.
Okay.
Which division do you want to start in?
Let's save the best for last. Let's start in the East.
We'll start with the worst. Let's just get it out of the way. Fuck the Yankees, right?
Fuck the Yankees. Agreed. All agreed. Very loudly fuck the Yankees.
Yeah. Like every single year, I just look at their roster and say like, all right, Judge can't reproduce that. Stanton's going downhill. DJ LeMahieu is hurt, right? Like they've got all these...
Their pitching sucks.
Yeah. And every year they seem to get 92 wins and be in contention.
Yep.
Very frustrating.
Yeah. I mean, the story is freaking Aaron Judge. Also, the story is the fact that the MLB gave the Yankees games more juiced balls last year than they gave to the other teams. But, we'll just pretend that didn't happen.
I mean, selectively helping certain teams in certain markets
benefits the MLB.
Huh.
Sure does.
Huh.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Yankees, Garrett Cole's a pretty good pitcher.
Yep. Nestor Cortez is hella fun.
Yes. Who's the catcher? Not Severino. Severino's a pitcher. Who's the catcher? He was
It'll come to me as soon as we...
Oh, Trevino.
Yeah, Jose Trevino.
Yes. He's very fun also. Obviously, Aaron Judge can absolutely destroy a baseball. And, you thought maybe he won't hit so many homers this year. And then he just blasts one, like, first at bat on opening day.
Yeah, of course.
That's what's going to happen the whole season.
He'll regress to 53.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, poor guy. I mean, yeah. Fuck the Yankees. They're probably gonna win like 95 games, and it's gonna be annoying.
Yeah, I feel it's better. It's more emotionally healthy for us to say they're gonna win 95, and then secretly hope that they go 79 and 83. But
yeah.
I'm not sure that in your lifetime they've had a losing record.
Yeah, I think that's probably correct. I still forever hate the Yankees because the reason that dearly beloved Ichiro Suzuki was traded to them was because he wanted to win a World Series, and then they sucked. So I wish that they would have won just for him. That sounds terrible to wish the Yankees win the World Series, but
yeah, that sounds like a terribly complex set of like parameters, machinations to get through.
Yes. But I mean, they're probably going to be good. Such is life.
Yeah. Let's talk about a less heralded but probably more interesting franchise, the Tampa Bay Rays, who develop every single year 11 relievers who look like high school chemistry teachers and throw amazing.
Yeah. I just don't know how they do it. They probably are the most unorthodox team in terms of the way that they run their pitching staff and do lots of starters or lots of openers, not starters. And I think that's actually like strategy-wise a very interesting part of baseball. But I mean, God, they're probably going to be good too. They're probably going to be good.
Yeah, it's a shame because like they play in a crummy stadium with crummy lighting and nobody's going to see it. Yeah. And Wander Franco, like, can he stay healthy?
They're like one of the most fun teams in baseball too, and they have no fans, which is sad.
Yeah, like quiet quitting became kind of a thing.
Oh no.
I think okay, so the Rays started in what, 1998? And here's a quiz. What league are the Brewers and Astros in?
The American League somehow.
Well, the Brewers are in the NL. I still have trouble remembering that.
Brewers are in the NL. Oh yeah, okay.
But
the Astros, yes, the Astros.
Yeah,
I won't forget that.
Anyway, when the MLB kept shuffling
Yes.
teams around when they added expansion teams instead of doing something sensible like interleague play all the time.
Yes, finally.
Yeah. Okay, so what kind of record do you think the Rays are gonna put up?
I feel like they're gonna be a 90-win team. Like,
Okay,
I feel like they're gonna make the wild card.
that seems credible.
Yeah.
Who is your second favorite baseball franchise?
That would be the Baltimore Orioles.
Ooh, let's talk about them next. You definitely have some Baltimore roots.
Yep.
And it seems like the Orioles could be interesting this year.
They certainly could be. They started off, I mean, they've got a lot of really good young players, and they just didn't bring him up for the beginning of the season, but brought up Grayson Rodriguez.
Yep.
New pitcher, young pitcher.
Poor guy had to start against Jacob DeGrom in his first start.
rough for him. But, and also, that's some service time manipulation there from the Orioles for not putting him on their opening day roster and calling him up 5 days later. But, we'll.
Well, I mean, so Mike Elias is going to follow the Astros playbook, and, well, he's doing it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I will always root for the Orioles, and unless they're playing the Mariners. But, yeah, I think if their young stars can be consistent, they will maybe have another good run. I think that they just traded away, too much. If they had kept like Mancini last year, could have been a little helpful for them.
Yeah, might could even have squoken into the playoffs.
Yes, exactly.
You got to really like what they have at catcher with Adley Rutschman,
yes.
Center field with Cedric Mullins, and who's their shortstop now? It's not Gunnar Henderson?
Yeah, it is Gunnar Henderson. Okay. Or is he shortstop?
I can't remember if he's shortstop or third.
I can't remember either, but he's good.
But it seems like they now have some tools, and I hope that their window can open potentially as like Red Sox are kind of scuffling. Blue Jays are competitive. If the Yankees window closes and the Rays are kind of in flux, like maybe the path to the AL East is more open than it seemed like 2 years ago.
I think it is. I mean, especially this year, like as we said, the Yankees are probably going to be good, but they do have a lot of injuries to their starting pitching and relief pitching to start the year. So there is potential, especially if the Orioles get off to a hot start. I mean, that was their thing last year. They had a really good section of the season, but it was not the whole season. And if they can be solid, they could have a chance for sure.
Okay. Emotional record or real record?
Emotional record. 130 wins.
Excellent. All right. So that at this time would put them at the top of the AL East.
Well, that would put them at the top of every baseball team ever. But yes.
Okay. So let's talk about the Boston Red Sox.
Oh boy. I did have the pleasure of going to Fenway Park for the first time last year, which I have to say was a very cool experience, and the seats were very small.
It turns out that butts were smaller in 1910, right?
I think that's true. Had a little bit less access to food, but I mean, the Red Sox are they're going to be bad. I think they're going to be bad, and I hope they're bad because, New England sports fans are insufferable, and
they have 4 World Series titles in the last 20 years.
Yeah, they can suck it up. It was actually very fun, like my first half year on tour in 2021, and I was on the East Coast, and at Maple Hill I was like listening to like Boston sports radio when I would drive from my aunt's house in Boston to Maple Hill.
Oh, good heavens.
And
tell me.
Oh my goodness.
The accents just calling in.
The accents, but just the insufferability of the fans and the radio, like the radio guys was like uncharted, off the charts, just so much.
Yeah, and you got to think that at that time of year, like they're concentrating all of their energy and attention onto the Sox because none of the other three major pro sports have started at that point.
Exactly. And they were like, they were kind of on a struggle bus at that time and were losing a couple games. And just after one loss, the commentators were just absolutely tearing them apart. Like, it was so brutal. And I just had no sympathy for them at all.
Yeah. You got to think that disc golf will have made it when we have a proper call-in show with, folks who are going to first time, long time, like lob the bomb and then take their call off the air, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I grew up listening to a lot of sports radio in Seattle too. So there's a good market for sports radio in my brain. But Northeast sports radio, not for me.
Okay. On the more polite side, let's hear about Canada's team from the Canadian national champ.
Yes, those Toronto Blue Jays who we've done some interesting trades with from the Mariners' perspective the past couple of years. Mm-hmm. Took Teoscar Hernandez and obviously Robbie Ray. And it worked out for us, winning the wild card series in 2 games after one of the most epic collapses of all time from the Blue Jays. I think they definitely got rid of some of their main pieces this year. Mm-hmm. And I don't think they're going to be championship or playoff contenders. I think they're probably going to be, I don't know. I think they're going to be 4th in the AL East,
which could still be a winning record.
That's true.
It's pretty bonkers.
That's true. Honestly, that is true. That's the thing. I feel like pretty much all the AL East teams besides the Red Sox, have the ability to put together a winning record and even potentially make the playoffs. But they don't have a whole. They got Vladdy. They got some really good.
It's
players.
Pretty wild. Like you think of their infield, like they've got Matt Chapman, they've got Bo Bichette.
They got Chapman. Yeah.
Kevin Biggio is not really panning out.
They got
George Springer. Their catchers Jansen and Kirk are really fun.
Yeah. Kirk is really fun. Yeah.
Like
they're good. That's the thing, that they are good, but I don't know.
It's like the hype hasn't panned out yet. Yeah. What makes us think it's going to be different this year?
I'm actually curious, like if Vladdy is going to stay there, like if the Blue, I don't know what the deal with his contract is, but he's got, I wonder if they don't make the playoffs this year, if he would try to go somewhere to win, because he could be a pretty good trade piece.
Yeah, he is kind of stuck at first base or DH.
Yeah.
Probably half the teams are pretty entrenched with some option, but
that's true.
Alek Manoah, mic him up every game.
He's fine.
That's it.
He's entertaining, but he was fine. He was mic'd up against the Mariners that one game. He's fine.
Okay.
I don't mind him, but he's not the most hilarious player in my opinion.
Okay. So that's the AL East. Let's talk about the AL Central.
Yes.
Where do you want to start?
Well, Mariners just played the Guardians, so let's talk about the Guardians.
Do you still have difficulty remembering that name change? Or did it take on
a little
pretty quick?
bit, but at this point, not as much.
Yeah.
Not as much, yeah.
Is this the year that Jose Ramirez can finally get the long-sought MVP?
No.
It's a shame.
It is a shame. He's a really, really, really good hitter. But I don't think so.
Okay.
There's a lot of other really good players.
Definitely. And he does some things well that just like don't show up in highlights. Mm-hmm.
That's true.
The Guardians have such a good pitching development pipeline as well. We talked about that with the Rays, but
yep, they have a really, really good bullpen. I was very happy that James Karinchak, who I do not like, his first relief pitching appearance of the season with the new pitch clock was in Seattle. He got completely razzed by the fans. They started like shot clock counting him down, and he got a pitch clock violation and ended up giving up a 3-run home run to lose the game. I do not like him, but he's a pretty good pitcher. And they have a very strong bullpen. And I feel like that is obviously having good players makes your team better, but that's a really good
Trenton analysis here.
Yes. Very, very deep and interesting analysis from Ella.
Shane Bieber, potential Cy Young candidate?
Potential. I mean, yeah, there's like a lot of it's interesting early in the season. There's so many people who could, and injuries obviously make a really big impact on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely potential for being a Cy Young candidate.
At this point, it seems like they are probably the favorite to win the division.
I think so.
What kind of record are you looking at?
I'll be generous. I mean, I think they're pretty good. I'll say like 97 wins.
That's a lot, and especially with the balanced schedule. Yeah. Okay, so that's our starting point. You want to go to the back end of the division?
Sure.
The Tigers, huh? Like, what are the most compelling reasons to go watch the Tigers?
They have good uniforms.
Good.
Big fan of their uniforms. They got Spencer Torkelson,
who has a superhero name.
Yes, Torkelson is just it's just such a good name, especially for a baseball player.
Absolutely,
that's a really good baseball player name.
You know how you're supposed to name your dog something that has like a hard C or another good consonant sound in it?
Hear it, yeah.
Like Torkelson has that right in the middle of the word.
Okay, so if either of us gets a dog, we need to name it Torkelson.
Torkelson, you get over here.
Yeah, I mean he's a very exciting young player, you know, and I think the most exciting thing for this season is Miggy's last year. And
yeah, we kind of saw Albert Pujols get a really fun farewell tour, and he played great through it.
He did play great.
Miggy's been with the Tigers for that is the franchise he's identified with.
That's his team.
So it'll be neat to see how fans elsewhere treat him.
I saw it when they just played in Houston, and especially I guess not all away games, but this year with playing every single team. So every single team has an opportunity to be like, yo, good job, Miggy. You're a cool guy.
Yeah, definitely. Giving him some kind of award.
Yeah. The Astros gave him a pretty nice cowboy hat, which I was like, okay, I hate the Astros, but we'll get into that later. But, that's still pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. The ghost of Javi Baez is there. He'll post a 286 on-base percentage, get some amazing tags, and probably lose interest by July.
Sounds about right.
Yep.
I think so.
Are you going to try to go to Detroit to see a game while we're there for D-Club?
I would like to. The Tigers were one of the teams that I just liked growing up. I think the team that I was on in Little League in like first or second grade was the Tigers, and I just like the jerseys, and I think they're just it's a cool park too.
Yeah, definitely. The big script D and everything. It's funny how your Little League affiliation colors at that stage it means everything.
Yeah, absolutely. That was my first MLB team. I think my T-ball one was the Barracudas, which is not a real team in the MLB yet. That's true. You
need to get your agent to negotiate harder so that you can be a majority shareholder of what team name would you change?
Wow.
To the Barracudas.
Probably the Rays.
Okay.
It's just boring. Devil Rays is so much more fun. I guess they're going to be wearing some of the throwbacks this year, which is good. But
I saw the Marlins do that the other day.
Marlins throwbacks were nice. Those are fun.
Yeah. Did you have a favorite player on the Tigers growing up? Is this an Ordonez time?
Yeah.
Dean Palmer?
No. I don't know. I just kind of... Miggy.
Sure.
And
they had some guy who played all 9 positions in a game for the novelty.
it's pretty sick. There was, who were the I don't know. My brain's not working, but
Oh, well.
yeah, I like the Tigers.
Yeah. You got a record for them?
68 wins.
That seems right.
Yeah.
Okay. Minnesota Twinkies. I know for a fact that they are in Minnesota right after the preserve on the Monday after.
Okay. You down?
Yep.
Let's be there.
See you there. Everyone listening to this podcast, you can meet us there.
Yeah.
I don't know what section we'll be in, but
We'll probably be in like the center field bleachers or something. I don't know if they have those, but probably there.
yeah. It's a shame that the Twins, even if they play pretty good and make the playoffs, are going to get a first-round matchup with the Yankees and lose in heartbreaking fashion like they have every year since time immemorial.
Yeah. I mean, the AL is such a tough division. I feel like there's, I think the Guardians are going to win Central, and they might be a wild card contender, but I don't know. I don't see it too much.
It feels like a lot of things have to break right for them. The first among those is, does Byron Buxton stay healthy?
Yeah, that is a very, very key thing. He is so good. He's like, you see Aaron Judge and you're like, yeah, that guy can hit a baseball really far. You look at Byron Buxton and you're like, you look like a string bean, and yet you also can hit a baseball really, really far.
And run like hell too.
Oh yeah. He's a very good player. And how many games has he even played in the past 3 seasons?
It might add up to 162.
Yeah.
But when he does play, he puts up MVP rate numbers.
Yeah. That's interesting too I think it's a less intentional, obviously, in baseball, but the NBA now having minimum games played for award contention, it's crazy how the injuries affect players. Players could be in the MLB could play so well when they're not injured, but if they're injured, Mike Trout, it doesn't work.
Yeah, and I started this segment kind of clowning on the DH being instituted across all of baseball, but the Twins said that Buxton was going to be playing more games at DH to try to preserve him.
Yeah, I mean that's wild because he's very fast. You don't usually see your
fast, yes.
Some of your fastest fielders getting put at DH, but such is life, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I don't remember the last time that a batting champ got traded, but they did that with Luis Arias.
Yeah. Huh. There was the past offseason was very big. There's a lot of stuff happening, and there was almost departure from the Twins, and then almost different departure from the Twins, and then back to the Twins.
Zach and I talked about that a little bit, but it's really huge for them to get Correa back.
Yeah,
it means that
is huge.
It means that he enjoyed the time enough in Minnesota to want to go back and
to be the third choice to go back to.
Yeah, nobody likes being the third choice, but at the same time, he's somebody that they can build around and hopefully make the division, which seems pretty wide open for the next few years, competitive.
Yeah, that's true. Any player that was on the Astros, I have a negative opinion of, so it's hard for me to not be biased when it comes to Correa, but he is another one that is a very good player and can definitely be a big centerpiece on that team.
Yeah. The Royals.
Yep.
Do you think they have a couple of Hall of Famers on that roster?
Yeah, I think so.
Got Greinke.
Yeah.
Maybe a Salvador Perez.
Yeah.
If you kind of overlook the defensive catching stats.
Yeah. Having Greinke back is fun for them though. He's He's a weird ass guy.
I honestly can't get enough of the stories of him.
Yeah.
I think
every story makes him seem weirder, and then you're like, there's no way he could possibly be weirder, and then somehow he is.
And yet all of his teammates seem to love him. Mm-hmm. I think my favorite is when Alex Gordon had come up and was struggling. Mm-hmm. Greinke said, "Hey, let me show you something." Took him to the film room and had queued up a clip of Zach Greinke at bat. Greinke hits a home run, and then, real life Greinke looks at Alex Gordon and says, "Do that."
So good. He's like, it's so fun. One of my favorite things is this off season. He's apparently pretty good friends with Robbie Ray.
Okay.
And he went to the Mariners game
in the postseason, right?
In the postseason, that Mariners-Astros game that went to 18 innings in Seattle. I think it was in Seattle. Anyway, he went to one of the games, and his wife just like posted a picture later and was like, "Look at Zach and his kids," and like he was just wearing like normal old man dad clothes, and nobody recognized him.
Yeah, like what a great person. Okay. I love that he shakes himself off while running the pitch comm.
So funny. That's actually, did any pitchers run the pitch comm last year, or is that a new thing this year?
I think it's pretty new.
Okay. I've only seen it this year, and seeing Greinke shake off his own pitch and then just do some weird stuff is hilarious.
His changeup is faster than his fastball.
Yeah. He's like the master of the eephus pitch, like,
oh yeah,
of all time. Well, probably not of all time. I think that was used a little more back in the day, but of modern day baseball, definitely the master of the eephus pitch.
Yeah, it's delightful that as the entire game has gone towards, 3 true outcomes and velocity, like he's showing that you can still pitch and get it done.
I'm just gonna throw a 58 mile an hour strike right over the heart of the plate, and you're gonna have no idea what to do with it. Yeah. He's a fun one.
Yeah, definitely. I got to go to a Royals game last year, and I was desperately hoping that he would be the pitcher. Instead, goodness, I can't remember his name. The pitcher threw up twice in the 4th inning and had to be removed while he's on the mound. Just takes a walk around like. I wonder if he would have been issued a strike under this year's rules while he's just like hurling on the back of the mound.
Oh my God! Or if they would have let it go.
Yeah.
Wow.
Can Bobby Witt Jr. put it together?
Yeah, I think so. We'll see.
I hope so.
I hope so. He's good. I mean, he was one of those. I feel like there's so many like young players right now who have the potential to be huge stars and need to just put together a good season, and they'll be. And
I think you had the good fortune in disc golf of coming in as a complete unknown. Like there wasn't a track that you were supposed to follow.
Right.
And it might be that the hype machine that baseball has created, it puts too much pressure on those players.
Yeah. Yeah. That's there's someone on the Mariners who might be doing that too. Jared Kelenic.
Yep.
But with Bobby, I think he'll figure it out. I think he'll have a good season.
Do you have a record for the Royals?
I'm going to give them, I don't know, like, I'm going to say 79 wins.
Okay. That could be a pretty decent season for them.
Yeah.
And let's round out the division with the White Sox.
Oh, the old White Sox. Yes. Their
biggest addition was subtraction. They no longer have a festering corpse managing the team.
Yeah, that honestly is a massive change. That is so massive. I feel like you can't understate how massive that is. And their manager will also travel for all the games too. That seems good. Will not be at risk of dying in the clubhouse.
Right. Won't be 4 times older than many of his players.
God. Yeah. I think just the choice to hire him in the first place was insanity.
It was like a makeup call from the 80s
Yeah.
when Reinsdorf had wanted to hire him.
Yeah. Yeah. That was. I can't imagine being on that team and how
No, it didn't make
terrible it would
it didn't
be.
make any sense at all at that point, given that they had a really young Latino heavy roster.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're going to hire.
Let's hire an ancient white man who doesn't really know what modern baseball is.
Yeah. And it, to me, it seems like they may have squandered 2 years of potential development as Jose Abreu's no longer with them.
Yep.
Eloy Jimenez is mega talented, but is now out with a hamstring strain or something for a couple weeks.
Yep. That's rough. I mean, they also have, everybody knows Dylan Cease, and he's got a potential Cy Young season too. Going.
Yeah, definitely. Insanely good at preventing hits. Does walk a few folks, but
hasn't really so far this season though.
No, and if he doesn't walk people, he's gonna get so many outs.
Yeah, if he can just like cut his walks in half, I think keep pitching the way he's been pitching. I think, didn't he add a pitch in the off season? Maybe I don't know. Maybe
I don't remember hearing it.
Anyway, but I feel like if he cuts those walks in half, he's got a Cy Young season.
Yeah, for sure. I think he was second last year.
Yeah. should be pretty good.
Do you have okay, real quick, how thirsty are disc golfers to be noticed as a real sport? Because anytime a celebrity or other sports athlete even mentions that they play disc golf, everyone decides this is our home team, this is our guy.
Oh yeah. Yes, so thirsty. Both the pros and then also the fans, and just seeing people somebody post something about disc golf and all of these fans are
glomming onto it,
tagging Dylan Cease, look at this. It's he's probably not gonna look at that. I'm sorry, I get it and I understand, but he's probably not gonna look.
Right. And I'm sure that happens to you a little bit with direct messages or tags or something. You're pretty good. You've never gotten second in a Cy Young race.
That's true. That would be pretty cool.
Just the scale of number of people paying attention.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sometimes it kind of blows my mind because I'm even at my level of sometimes I refer to myself as a fake professional athlete.
I do air quotes around both words individually.
Yes. And even the level to which I have to deal with people messaging me and tagging me in comments and things. I just wow, I can't imagine being a real celebrity or pro athlete. That sounds exhausting.
Yeah. There's a reason that there are entire divisions of teams who are set up to handle fan mail and public relations statements.
Yes.
Event management. Yeah.
Yes. I think it makes a difference now too with all the social media because each player has their own social media. So it's not necessarily managed by the team exclusively anymore, which makes it harder. But speaking of the White Sox, I think having Liam Hendriks just finished his last round of chemo.
Yeah, way to
which
go.
Which is awesome. And he's just one of the best guys in the league. And hopefully we'll see him pitching soon, I think.
Mm-hmm.
He seems to be implying that. And yeah, also a great pitcher.
Yeah, and a guy who hasn't been afraid to be himself and advocate for others too.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
Yes, me too. He's a good guy. Big fan.
Do you have a record, real or emotional, for the White Sox?
I think I due to the disc golf thing and also really liking Liam Hendriks, I feel I like the team. I mean, they might be, besides the Tigers, one of my number ones in the Central. So I'll give them an emotional record of 110 wins.
Okay, very solid.
Yeah.
Let's go on to the West. Where do you want to start?
Let's start with the Angels.
Oh man, it's so sad and so funny. Comedy and tragedy are so intertwined with the Angels, who have
the two best players in baseball.
And a World Series MVP.
Yeah. And
they're going to do nothing with it.
They are. And they have Anthony Rendon, who has already fucked up the season by getting himself suspended for 4 games for trying to punch a fan in the face in the second game of the season, which is hilarious. I don't think it was Rendon. No, maybe it was Rendon last year when the Mariners and the Angels fought. And
I'd have to watch the John Boy breakdown.
Yeah, I can't. I don't. It might have been Rendon. Somebody just like after the fight was over, just like ran onto the field and threw a tray of sunflower seeds.
Oh, it wasn't him.
It wasn't him. It was some.
It was a pitcher. I think.
Yeah, but anyway, they've got some interesting things. They were going to sell the team in the offseason, and then they were like, "Just kidding, we are not going to sell the team."
It's good to have that stability.
Yeah, I mean Shohei is so good. I watched him pitch against the Mariners yesterday. Mm-hmm. He's very good. He hits a lot of home runs. He's
very fast.
He's the best player in baseball ever, I think. I think he's the GOAT.
Yeah.
Some people can argue that, but I think he's the GOAT. And I mean, they're going to suck. At least I hope they're going to suck. But the track record shows that they're going to suck.
It's amazing how they have so much talent and resources in like 3 guys and have for the last 8 years or so.
Yep.
And it's not just what they have right now. Like there's such a track record of them signing Josh Hamilton and Albert Pujols.
Yep.
And there's a pitcher that I can't remember.
Yeah.
That they just sign them to long deals that don't pan out, and then they wonder why it doesn't work. While, like, to my eye, it seems like they're never bringing up players from the minors who are ready to play.
No.
Like,
there's got to be something wrong there because, like, we saw Pujols go to the Angels. It was like he was going to be the DH, and then he did not play well relatively to his career. Went back to the Cardinals and, like, smashed a bunch of home runs last year. Like,
yeah,
if he, like, you just think about if he had stayed on the Cardinals that whole time and they had a DH, like, how different that would be. And also just like there's gotta be some like either like an evil curse or like someone internally is a horrible person and they're just getting punished because like the pieces are there. It blows my mind, honestly.
I was reading an article by Jason Stark kind of recapping the new rules, and I guess he had spoken to an executive who was talking about how he couldn't wait to get analytics out of baseball. Like he didn't I think it was an owner who didn't understand why he had so many people in his analytics department.
Oh my God.
And like I was just like running through and trying to figure out like what team could that be? Like someone old who's been in baseball a long time, who's just like, my scouts, their eyes, they know what they're looking at.
Yeah.
I don't even need a radar gun to tell you who's good.
And have absolutely nothing to prove for it coming out of the minor league system.
Yeah. I will say the best thing I've seen so far for the Angels this year was them having in their batting order consecutively Anthony Rendon, Hunter Renfroe, and I think it's Wilmer Rengifo. R-E-N.
Oh, yeah. Rengifo. What's his name? Yeah. Luis Rengifo.
Luis, okay.
Yeah. Rengifo. Luis Rengifo is just a really good name. And then a lot of Rens.
Yes. Anyway, record.
$80 and $82.
Okay. Next up, we're going to give the Oakland Athletics as much attention as their owner is giving them, which is like 1 minute right now.
I went to an A's game last year, and it was very fun because I spent like $12 and got to sit one row behind the Mariners dugout.
That's pretty cool. It's never a good sign when you don't have to go very many decimal places to be a noticeable percentage of the crowd.
Yeah. That is true. That they just like, God,
criminal negligence?
Yeah, I think that's a good way to describe it. It's so sad.
like, this is the prime example of how owners should not be able to hold hostage entire cities waiting for a stadium to be built when there's been like an open sewage problem in the Oakland Alameda Coliseum for upwards of 20 years.
It's rough. It's rough. And even just being at the state, like sitting right behind the Mariners dugout is cool, but like, what if you sit pretty much anywhere else? It sucks. And honestly, like, they just, you saw them get rid of some of their players at the trade deadline and in the last free agency, and then you're like, they got rid of some at the beginning of free agency, and then you just saw more and more like, how, like, what players are going to play on your team? Like, you're just salary dumping everything.
Yeah. And okay, so they were pioneering with Moneyball, like kind of starting the analytics movement. And that was great. Like, they were exploring inefficiencies in how baseball was scouted and players were signed. Now it seems like they found like the full late capitalism Moneyball, where they can reap in revenue sharing and MLB licensing, and like the franchise valuation is going to continue to go up. I was bagging on the Pirates for kind of the same thing. Yeah. But like this, I don't remember who the owner is.
The Pirates have O'Neal Cruz, who's fun to watch.
And Ke'Bryan Hayes.
Yeah.
And a couple decent pitchers.
Yeah.
But like all of that is being overshadowed by Will Bryan Reynolds signing an extension. With the Oakland Athletics. Yeah. With the Athletics, there's no hope right now. And
there's no positive future for them. In Oakland.
Okay. So instead of telling me their record, please rank the most likely destinations for the Oakland Athletics franchise, which, recall, has formerly been in Philadelphia and Kansas City. Just itinerant.
Jeez. I think Vegas is pretty likely.
Following the Raiders.
Yeah. I think, gosh, I don't know.
Vegas would allow them to continue to be in the West.
Yeah. I mean,
Portland would be fun.
There's no way it's going to happen.
No. Nashville seems like a hot topic.
Yeah. Nashville seems like a good potential. I mean, honestly, Vancouver would be fun.
Definitely. Like Canada would be all in on another team. Like, Mariners got about overloaded in that Blue Jays.
Oh, the first Mariners Blue Jays game I went to was a terrible experience. I would never recommend it. I mean, I would recommend it because we gotta hold our ground against those Canadian fans. And I love Canadians in general, but when Canadians come to Seattle as Blue Jays fans, they turn evil and they multiply in number, and it's terrible. As a home fan, it sucks. Which probably only makes them want to do it more, but it does suck.
Yeah, and they're probably going to insult American beer in the process.
Probably.
Can't have that.
Hey, Seattle has great concessions.
Okay, when we get to the Mariners, hold your horses. I will ask you to curate the perfect eating experience. You can tell me inning. You can tell me like which station to go to.
Okay.
All right. We've got 3 more teams in the West. Let's talk about the Astros.
Okay.
Heavy sigh.
Well, I can tell you that Yordan Alvarez is really good at hitting home runs.
Yeah. Super fun to watch as a hitter, less as a fielder.
Yes. Jeremy Pena, very good young player.
Yeah, they got rid of Correa, and we were all like, uh-oh, like, what's the future?
Him with someone better
and younger.
Yep. Yeah, Jeremy Pena, very good. It's kind of fun. I think he's Dominican. I think he was on Julio Rodriguez's teammates in the World Baseball Classic, which is always so fun to watch. And I mean, they got really good pitching. they're freaking good.
Yeah,
I won't deny that.
Aside from whatever transgressions they may have committed, they are very, very good at, or they did a very good job at doing the franchise teardown, and then doing a systemic upgrade,
Rebuild, upgrade, yeah.
of everything. Like their minor leagues develop, their scouts pick good prospects. They sign good free agents when it's available.
Yep. I mean, they're good. I hate them, but they're good. I really, honestly, this might be controversial. I really love their uniforms. I especially love the their City Connect, the Space City ones.
Okay.
The NASA ones. Big fan.
The only Astros uniform I will recognize is one that shows off Nolan Ryan. Something that's just big and stripy.
Yeah, those are good. Their uniforms, the previous design iteration, I can imagine it's Lance Berkman in a freaking red, brown, disgusting looking jersey.
Yeah, those weren't good.
No.
And yeah, Lance Berkman. That's a good pull for Hall of Very Good from that era.
Yeah. Yeah. Back when they were in the NL.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Late stage Craig Biggio.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Yeah. I mean, they won. They're good. They're gonna continue to be good.
Yep. And it's weird that you viscerally hate a team that's in your division that is 2,000 miles away from you.
That is the weirdest thing. It is weird. It's very strange to be in the largest division. The Mariners travel more miles than any other team, and that's because
I think the Cards actually beat you this year
Really?
because
Cards
they have a
do?
series in London or something.
Oh, well, whatever. That doesn't count. I'm not counting those overseas things. But the Mariners need to learn not to put Robbie Ray in to pitch against Yordan Alvarez. But anyway, yeah, I mean, they're good. They're probably going to win the division.
How many wins?
I'm going to say 99.
99. Okay, seems credible.
Mm-hmm.
Let's stay in Texas and go to the Rangers.
Yes.
The Rangers, to me, they saw the Los Angeles Angels and said, ooh, I want to do that.
Yeah. They spent a lot of money this offseason, too.
And last offseason.
Yeah. They got some pieces.
Seager, Semien, DeGrom, John Gray.
Yep. DeGrom is a big pickup, even though he pitched terribly in his first start with them. I mean, Corey Seager was a really smart choice. He hits so well in that ballpark, and all the Seagers hit really well in that ballpark. Kyle Seager, legendary Ranger smasher on the Mariners. But, yeah, I mean, I think we're going to have a double Angel situation. I think you're right. They're going to...
Once again, if they're not developing players that they can call up, the free agency pipeline is not... that's where you add the one or two pieces you need, not how you build your entire team if your last name isn't Cohen.
That's true. That's true. And, it's a tough division.
Definitely.
AL West. And, I mean, they're, so underwhelming to me. I kind of always forget that they're, in the division.
Yeah, they might be the most forgettable franchise in baseball. If I had to remember the Twins, I think I would get the Twins faster than the Rangers.
Yes, me too, even though the Rangers are in my division.
Yeah. Do you have a record for them?
I mean, I think they're going to do fine. I'll give them 85 wins.
Wow, okay.
I think it's going to be a tight race.
It could be. it legitimately could be a 3 or 4 teams going for the division and wild card in the West.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Mariners outfielders during your lifetime. Please make like cartoon awooga noise with the appropriate amount of enthusiasm for these Mariners outfielders.
I'm ready.
Mike Cameron.
Awooga!
Ichiro.
Awooga! How loud can I be?
Franklin Gutierrez.
Awooga. I liked
Poor
him,
guy.
but
Julio.
I'm just gonna say it really quiet, but you can just imagine that it's like 10,000 times louder. Awooga.
Yeah, this is like scientific notation awooga.
Yes, exactly. That's a great way to put it. You just can't. It's impossible to not love Julio, especially if you're a Mariners fan, but just in general. He plays baseball. He has a lot of fun. He's really good at it. He's got a nice smile. He's handsome. He's dating a women's soccer player. You know, what more could you want?
From which team?
From the Seattle team, Seattle Reign.
What a power couple.
Yes.
Like, okay, so Julio, and who's he dating?
Jordan Heidema.
Okay. Are they a better baseball soccer combo than the Swanson Pugh dynasty in Chicago?
Yes.
Okay.
I think maybe not at this exact moment, but when Julio and Jordan Heidema, she's also a young, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I think when they're at their peaks, yes.
Okay. Put a pin in this, and in 8 years, please email both me and Ella, and we'll evaluate again.
Yes, exactly.
What else do we need to talk about on the Mariners?
I mean, Julio. Jared Kelenic is like a big question mark going into the season. He's one of those, you know, he kind of was up there with Julio in terms of like top Mariners prospects for a while. He got brought up in, I think, 2021 or maybe 2020 even. I don't know.
Yeah.
For the first time, struggled, went back to minors. Got brought up again, like hit really well in the minors, got brought up again, struggled, went back to minors. That's kind of been his whole career so far.
It's kind of the Joe Adele situation in Angels.
Yes. And he has the potential to be a really great player, and he strikes out a lot. He swings and misses a lot. He is just a big wild card. If he can put together a good season, I think that will make a huge impact on the team, because
definitely reliable left fielder.
That last outfielder spot is big question mark. I think, the Mariners core is really good. I mean, you got to talk about Cal Raleigh, big dumper. He was like a pretty good prospect, but.
How do you respond to Luis Castillo's explanation of whether he's ugly or not?
I don't think he's ugly, but he definitely is better to look at from behind, I think. Or from the side. If you don't watch baseball and you enjoy butts, he really has like he's called Big Dumper for a reason, like one of the best butts of any professional athlete.
And
I think
this is a very butt positive program.
Yes.
If you don't like butts, just go away.
Just hang up. Turn it off. He's a great player, good hitter. He kind of was the opposite of Jared Kelenic last year. Started with the team, played bad, went to the minors, came back and just smashed. Played super well.
It's like Mike Zunino got a Mario mushroom.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Cal's great. They got, the one thing that I love about the Mariners, not the one thing, I love a lot of things about the Mariners, but they have fun. They have a really nice core. I mean, JP Crawford, he's not the greatest hitter, but if he can hit pretty well, he's a really important piece, I think, in the clubhouse for the Mariners. And
you can survive a couple mediocre hitters if they're also good fielders.
Right. Yeah. And JP, I think he's a former Gold Glove winner. I mean, he's very good defensive shortstop. Ty France, great hitter, pretty solid first baseman for being so short.
Yeah.
Eugenio Suarez, he's so fun to watch. amazing third baseman.
And I bet, like, if you asked baseball fans, they couldn't tell you who hits home runs like he does.
He certainly does. And he's one of those kind of surprise additions because he came to the Mariners, honestly, kind of as a salary dump from the Reds with Jesse Winker, Winker was supposed to be like the big part of that trade. Winker sucked, left, and now we got Gino, and Gino's great. We love Gino. I mean, the pitching is really good. The bullpen is super solid. Got a lot of right-handed pitchers who throw a lot of sliders, and that's seems to be working for the most part. It kind of...
I mean, that is the pitching staff meta right now.
Yes, it kind of bites us in the butt a couple times, but in general, it's pretty solid for us. And, I mean, we just love the Mariners so much.
So pitching staff is Luis Castillo, George Kirby.
Yep.
A couple other young guys.
Logan Gilbert.
Right.
He's not going to win a Cy Young, but he's got the potential for a really good season. Marco Gonzalez, who is a underrated veteran. He just pitches a lot of innings. He doesn't really get hurt, or he hasn't, knock on wood. And also kind of a good clubhouse guy. Everybody kind of loves him.
And Robbie Ray.
Robbie Ray just got injured. It's like a flexor strain, which is not a good thing for a pitcher. That's like preemptive of Tommy John surgery. So hopefully he will do better because he was looking really good in spring training. But we've got Chris Flexen as our now sixth starter, and he pitched some solid innings against the Angels. He's a pretty solid pitcher, and in the bullpen we got Paul Sewald, Andres Munoz, Matt Brash, who has some of the most disgusting pitch movement I've ever seen.
He shows up on Pitching Ninja a shocking amount.
Yes, he is really good. And just, some very good pitchers for the Mariners.
Excellent. So 116 is the number to clear for the real or emotional record.
Yes. Emotional record is 162-0. Real record.
Wait, what's their record right now at this point in the season?
2-4.
Okay, so 158
and 4.
We've got to preserve some level of realism here.
Okay, 158 and 4.
Deal.
And I think realistically, I'm gonna say 91 wins.
That seems pretty accurate.
Which may or may not make the playoffs.
I think it probably would with the more balanced schedule.
That's true. That's true.
And it's like your upper 25 percentile might win the West.
Yeah. I think they have a chance to win the West. I think they got to put it together, but the pieces are there. If Kelenic can have a good season, if a couple other players can, step up, it'll make a run for it.
Definitely. All right. Once again, I do not apologize for going long. This went into extra innings because baseball is just so fun, and there are so many interesting players and teams to talk about, but also to clown on lazy owners.
Exactly.
If you enjoyed this, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at fish58320. And if you enjoyed this, you can find Ella
at One Throw Ella on Instagram and at Bagel Powered on Twitter.
And please close us out with an awooga for Ken Griffey Jr.
Awooga!
That's all for this episode of the Fish Golf Brah-dcast. But be sure to check out previous episodes and subscribe wherever fine podcasts are sold. Check out Fish Golf Brah-dcast hats and other apparel at discgolfbrah.com and badger your friends until they listen too. Join us next time as I goad yet another guest into starting a fight with another touring player, campsite host, or toll booth attendant on the Fish Golf Brah-dcast.